Welcome to Adulting. I'm your host, Whitney Ice. Here in Adulting, we give you all the how-tos and steps you need to take into adulthood. We know that life can be stressful, and we're here to provide new solutions every week to help you maintain your lifestyle. In this episode, we'll discuss how to avoid sickness. Tune in until the end of the show to see what you can do to avoid sickness and how to beat it. Right now, we'll take it over to Wes, where he'll talk about music in Blackout.
Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Blackout. I'm your host, Wesley, and this is the show where we talk about all things black, whether it be music, cinema, history, culture, whatever. And this week, we're talking about music. When talking about black music, you definitely have to start from the very beginning. And the very beginning for black music is Negro spirituals. Now, if you haven't heard this term before, it's probably because you've heard it as spirituals. This was changed mostly because the word Negro is a little hard to say nowadays. Where these songs come from is actually pretty interesting. Slaves were singing these songs while slaving in the fields and also singing these songs in churches. Songs like Amazing Grace, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and Wade in the Water. A lot of songs that you hear in sporting events or really anywhere come from Negro spirituals. Now, of course, during the time of a lot of these songs' creations, recording music wasn't necessarily hard. So I would give you some recommendations from artists that made these songs, but that's basically impossible because we have no idea what individual people made these songs. But what I do have is a pretty good knowledge of gospel songs, and one of my favorite gospel songs is called Come On In This Room, and there's a really, really good version on YouTube by the Georgia Mass Choir. If you really want to get a feel for what Negro spirituals felt like, that is almost as authentic as you can get. I mentioned earlier that black music's origins are held within Negro spirituals, but this is an understatement. Blues music comes directly from Negro spirituals, and what you're about to learn about is blues music is the epitome of modern day music. Now here's where it may get a little more familiar for you. I'm assuming that you heard of people like Ray Charles or B.B. King or Little Richard. These are some of the biggest blues artists and rock and roll artists to ever exist. And if you haven't, that's okay, because I can almost guarantee that some of your favorite bands, or maybe your parents' favorite bands, or maybe your parents' favorite bands, are definitely inspired by some of these blues artists. And I say that because this comes directly from these artists. A lot of them attribute their success to being inspired by these blues artists. Now, around the time of blues being one of the most popular genres of music on the planet, jazz existed. Before we move on to jazz, I do want to give you a recommendation for blues. One of my favorite artists, blues artists that is Robert Johnson. Now, there's quite a bit of lore surrounding his entire skill set, and there's a bunch of dope videos about it, and I think you should really check it out if you're interested. But he has a song called Sweet Home Chicago, and if you've heard of it, you probably have. It's made by him, and it's a great song, and I love it because I'm from Chicago. Now, I promise I will get into jazz and much more in the next time at Blackout, but I hope that you walked away learning something new about black culture, and I hope that you come back next time to learn something else. This has been Blackout.
Thanks, Wes. Right after this is Tori with Let's Get Crafty.
Hello, this is Let's Get Crafty on Adulting, and today we're going to be making tie-dye. Step 1 is to make sure you get all of your materials, so you'll need something to tie-dye. And then you need your dye, and I suggest wearing gloves when you do that because otherwise your hands will look like this. Then you'll need some rubber bands and of course gloves for while you're tie-dyeing.
And a tablecloth.
And
you
tablecloth.
don't want to mess up
So your table doesn't get messy.
your favorite beer pong table.
Step 2, put on your gloves. Okay, step 3, pick out your colors. Step 4, pick out your design. Step 5, prep your design. Here we go. Crumple. ASMR.
Should I do one big spiral? This looks like
This is hard with the.
I told you to take the gloves off.
For crumpling, all you do is scrunch it up.
This has become crumple method plus rubber bands.
Alright. So Kaylee is winging
We
it.
switched it up.
What? How did that happen?
I swear to God, I must have been the best kid in art class.
I know I was star student right here. Step 6, add rubber bands to your designs, if you choose to do so. There we go. Step 7, pick out your dye. I'm using blue and teal.
Maybe some fuchsia. Maybe we'll find out.
Apply your dye.
If I slap this on the floor.
My cap won't come off.
Oh, you need help?
Got it.
Oh my god! This is gonna be a mess to clean off.
That's why you buy a tablecloth, okay? Are you waiting for blue?
Yeah.
Step 6.
You're about to use all of it.
Tori, look how much you use!
Isn't there a teal too?
Then we're gonna flip, we're gonna smear it around a little bit. Scoop.
It's your
And
No.
Ready? Ready? Here, ready? You let go of the tablecloth. Okay, ready, set.
Okay. Does it look pretty?
It's something.
It's something. Okay. Step number 8. Wrap up your tie-dye in a bag or plastic wrap. Like tie it really well.
Yes.
Get in here. Ugh. Step number 9. Leave it in the bag for 6 to 8 hours. Optimal dryness. Ooh.
That's like a brick.
Thanks for watching Let's Get Crafty. See you next time. Yeah. This is adulting. I do adult things like tie-dye. Okay.
Thanks, Tori. That was to die for. Coming up next is what we've all been waiting for. We'll hear all you need to know about how to keep yourself healthy and avoid sickness. Stay tuned. This week, we'll be talking about how to avoid sickness. Colds and flus are the most common illnesses among college students, and we'll discuss how you get it, some of the symptoms, and how to treat it. Let's jump right in. According to the World Health Organization and Center for Disease Control and Prevention, seasonal flu usually spreads pretty easily, especially since people tend to transmit the virus in crowded areas such as schools and businesses. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, droplets containing the virus are let out into the air. These can infect nearby people who breathe them in. It can also be spread by contaminated hands that touch different surfaces throughout the day, which can then be spread to another person as they touch it. With the cold or flu, you may experience some symptoms. These can include fever, dry cough, headache, muscle and joint pain, sore throat, and runny nose. Luckily, there are ways to help. Most people recover within 1 to 2 weeks without requiring medical attention. Here are some helpful tips to prevent sickness. Number 1, wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. And if that's not possible, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. This kills viruses that may be on your hands. Number 2, maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet between yourself and anyone who may have symptoms. You can breathe in these droplets containing the virus that will make you sick. With that being said, don't share anything like food or utensils. And if social distancing isn't possible, wear a face covering that covers your nose and mouth in all common areas. Number 3, try to avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, and practice cleaning and disinfecting. Hands touch many surfaces throughout the day and can pick up viruses. Once you're contaminated, hands can transfer the virus to your eyes, nose, and mouth. From there, it can enter your body and make you sick. So be sure to clean frequently touched surfaces and objects with soap and water and then a disinfectant wipe. Number 4, practice respiratory hygiene. This includes covering your mouth and nose with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then make sure to dispose of the used tissue. Number 5, If you feel sick or have symptoms, stay home and isolate yourself for a few days. You can protect yourself from contracting the disease or reduce the spread to others. You can also conduct a self-assessment, including temperature checks and monitoring for new symptoms. If it doesn't get better, seek medical attention or your health provider. These tips will help decrease the risk of infecting others in your community. That concludes this week's episode. I hope you all stay safe out there. And that's been our show of adulting. Be sure to tune in every week at 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday on KNWT Channel 8 for more life hacks. Coming up next is Cat Play. Thanks for watching.